Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to this afternoon session titled Ask an Advisor. My name is Aparna Chandrasekharan and I am an advisor with the Education USA Center here in Chennai. The format for today's presentation will be, I'll go through a couple of slides to give you some basic information on higher education in the US, and after that I'll be taking questions both from the audience which is available with us here in the audience, and I'll also be taking questions from students who are joining us live online through the US Consulate Chennai Facebook page. Please do type your questions in the comments section so that we can get to your questions once the presentation is done. Thank you again for joining us. I'll just give you a quick introduction to our organization and to the Education USA program. Okay, it's just a minute, there seems to be some technical problem. Let me just correct that. No, it doesn't seem to be working. You'll have to tap it for me then. Yeah, yeah. No. Right. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. We had a small technical problem. So starting our presentation, I'll give you a short introduction to US-India Education Foundation. This is an organization that was established in 1950 following the signing of a treaty between the Government of India and the Government of the United States. The purpose of setting up this organization was to promote mutual understanding through exchange programs, both cultural and education exchange programs. And we administer two programs. One is called the Fulbright and Fulbright Nehru Fellowships Program, and the second one is called the Education USA Program. To give you a little more information about Education USA, it's funded by the Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs, and it comes under the US Department of State. We are actually a global network of 400 advising centers in 170 plus countries. And in India, we work out of 7 centers, 5 of which come under the USIEF umbrella, and they are located in the cities of New Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Chennai. And we also have 2 independent Education USA centers in the cities of Ahmedabad and Bengaluru. So that was a brief introduction to our organization and to the Education USA program. I'll now talk to students who are applying for fall 2018 to US universities, that is those who have already applied and who have perhaps got their admits. So I'll be talking a little bit to them first, and then I'll address the students who will be applying for next year, fall 2019 as well. So for those applying to 2018, I guess most of you may have already heard back from universities that you've sent your applications to. Some of you may have received also an I-20 or that's called the Certificate of Eligibility, or what we in India might refer to as an admit card. So you might have already started initiating the process to receive I-20s from multiple universities. So for those of you going to fall 2018, I'd just like to share information that we are at the Chennai Center. We will be conducting a visa information session which will be presented by a US Vice Consul. This will be on 3 dates. Please make a note of these dates. Thursday, April 19th, again from 3 to 4 p.m. Thursday, May 17th, again 3 to 4 p.m. and Thursday, June 21st, again from 3 to 4 p.m. So this session will be very useful for you to understand the visa F1 student visa application process. The second program that I'd, of course, before that, I'd also like to draw your attention to our visa helpline. If you have any specific queries regarding the F1 student visa application or any particular queries regarding questions in that application, please do call our visa helpline. Those are the coordinates, the numbers. There are 2 helpline numbers, and for those calling from India. And there is as well an email ID that you can also send your emails to. The email ID is support-india@ustraveldocs.com. So please send your queries to that email, or please call those helpline numbers if you have any questions specific to your F1 student visa application. The third thing I'd like to draw the attention for those going for 2018 fall admissions, we will be organizing pre-departure orientation sessions all India, not just in Chennai, but they will also be organized in all the other 7 Education USA centers in India. So to look up information on how to register for that session, I would like to draw your attention to our website www.usief.org.in. Please go to this homepage of this website and there is a link which takes you to an All India registration page. Please sign up for you can sign up at that page. You can sign up for both the visa information session as well as for the PDO. The pre-departure orientation is a very useful program. It can vary from a half day to a full day program at different centers, and most of us will be talking about the F1 visa regulations while you are in the US. That topic will be covered by a US Vice Consul. We will also be talking about pre-travel arrangements, social and cultural integration, campus life. We'll talk about academic expectations and do's and don'ts. So do make it a point to attend one of the pre-departure orientation programs that are being held at the 7 different Education USA centers all across the country. For those students who are in and around Chennai, the session is going to be held on July 6th. You may get in touch with our office here in Chennai to find out details about the timings and the location and venue of that particular program. But please make a note, for those in and around Chennai, the PDO session will be conducted on 6th of July. All right. So now coming to those who are applying for fall 2019, I'm just quickly going to take you through this slide which gives you a brief understanding of the timeline. Ideally, we would advise you students to start at least 12 to 18 months prior to your joining the US university. So at least 12 to 18 months before, you should be doing the first step, which is identifying your priorities, figuring out the budget as to how much it's going to cost you, how you're going to pay for it. You need to start shortlisting universities, so you need to do a lot of research as to which university program is the right fit for you. So all of this you should ideally be starting 12 to 18 months prior to joining a US university. So if one of your students is joining in, let's say, next fall 2019, that's August or September of 2019, you should ideally be starting your research right away. February, March of this year is when you should be starting all of your research. Your next step would be somewhere about 10 to 12 months prior to joining the US university. You should be looking at how you are going to finance your education. So you need to do a bit of research to identify what kind of financial aid is offered by US universities, whether you are eligible to apply for those scholarships or assistantships that are on offer. You need to sit with your parents and discuss how much it's actually going to cost you to study in the US and how you're going to work out the modalities for paying for your education. You should also then finalize your shortlist by narrowing your list down to about 8 to 12 universities, and those can be your dream universities, matching universities, or safe universities. So it should be a good combination of all these 3 choices. Anywhere between 6 to 12 months prior to joining the university would be the third step, where you will be actually preparing your application package, which means you should have completed your GRE and GMAT. If you're going for a master's degree, and if you're going for a bachelor's degree or an undergraduate degree, you should have taken your ACT exam or the SAT exam. Some universities may also require you to take the SAT subject tests. Along with that, you will need to also take the English language proficiency test. Now, this would be for both the students applying for undergraduate or a graduate program. The English language proficiency requirement would be a must. So please make sure to check whether the university accepts the TOEFL exam scores, or does it accept the IELTS or the Pearson's test for English, and accordingly please choose to take those exams. Apart from that, if you're a school student, you will talk to your teachers to write recommendation letters for you, and if you're a college student, you will talk to your professors to give you 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. You will also be required to fill out application forms and write a statement of purpose if you're a master's student or a graduate student, and if you're an undergraduate student or a bachelor's degree student, you will be writing an essay as part of the application form. So all of this constitutes your application package, so you need to get that organized. And then you must submit your applications within deadlines, submit any information you need. If they have a separate financial aid application form, then you must fill it out and submit that to the university. And then, of course, once you've submitted all this information, the university will review your application, and if they are they like your profile and if they'd like to offer you admission, they will email you and ask you to submit proof of finances or financial statements which show that you have enough money to pay for your first year of education. All right. So you need to sit with your parents and get their financial documents, and you need to submit that to the university. Once you submit that to the university and the university is satisfied with your ability to pay for your first year of education, they will then send you the I-20 document, which, like I said, is like an admit card, which will give information about your course and how much it costs and all of that. And once you get the I-20, you can then take a decision on, you then decide between the multiple I-20s which one particular college you would like to attend, and then using that I-20 you start your visa application process. Now that starts anywhere 3 months to about 3 months to 4 months prior to your date of joining the university. Once you get the visa, anytime about a month before you actually leave for the US is when you can start your pre-departure formalities and you can get ready to head to the US. So that's for students who are going to be going for the 2019 fall admit cycle. For all of you, I would urge you to look at our educationusa.state.gov website, which is the US Department of State website, and there are a lot of learning resources for both undergraduate and graduate education. So please do look at that website as well. All right, so quickly just to tell you, how can we help you? At Chennai, we offer information sessions like the one I'm doing right now. We pretty much have them on Thursdays. It's called the Education USA Thursday program. Do go to our USIEF website to check the calendar of events. I'll show you that as well. So if you go to the usief.org.in website, for all the for the 5 USIEF centers, we have a calendar of events that we showcase. Every month we update that calendar. So the entire month's program and list of webinars will be available on that website. And this is exactly where that calendar of events is on the home page. So do go to our home page, click on the calendar, and every month at the beginning of the month, make sure to check what events and webinars we are organizing so that you can join us or follow us online for those. We also have every Saturday at 10 a.m. is the webinar. We also have one-on-one personalized advising sessions that we charge a fee for. Different centers, you must check with them as to what their fees will be for the one-on-one advising. We also help walk-in students to get accurate, current and comprehensive information, and we have a reference library at all centers that you can access as well. In addition to that, we have an all India toll-free helpline. So you can dial 1-800-103-1231, and if you have any questions, you can call in that number and seek inputs and advice from the toll-free helpline. As I said, our calendar of events is on the usief.org.in website. Other than that, we have several other resources that you can use. We have an excellent YouTube page called Education USA India, where there are a lot of free videos available for students to use, whether it's information about shortlisting or how to put together your proof of finances or how to write that statement of purpose or essay. For every topic that deals with the various stages of the US university application process, we have videos available on our YouTube page. So do make a visit to that page and do look up those videos for more advice and inputs. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. we do a webinar. You can go to the USIEF website and look up the calendar of events to see what is the upcoming topic for the next webinar, and you can just log into this website to this web link and sign up with your name and email ID, and you can join the webinar session. And students are also welcome to type in their questions in the chat box. Usually these webinars, either an Education USA advisor or a US university admissions representative or a faculty member would be conducting these webinars. So you can ask questions also when you participate in these webinars. In addition to that, we have an All India Facebook page, EDUSA India. Please do like that page. We put out a lot of information relating to studying in the US, whether it's about admissions or scholarship information or relevant articles. We do post them regularly. So please, and also event information from the different centers is posted on this page. So do keep track of our Education USA page. If you are in Chennai, you're welcome to visit us at the American Consulate, but you need to make sure we are available Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. to students in Chennai, but you need to make sure that you bring a government issued valid photo ID card to visit the Education USA Center in Chennai. You may give us a call. This is our number here, 28574134. And if you wish to clarify anything before you visit our office, please give us a call, and then do plan to come and visit us sometime during the week when we are open. All right. So with that brief introduction, I'm now going to open the floor for questions. We will first start with questions from our in-house audience, and those who are watching us online, please keep your questions coming in, and we'll respond to it one by one. All right. Thank you so much. So let's go with questions from the audience. Any questions? It can be anything related to 2018 admissions or 2019 fall admissions as well. Yes, please.
So could you give me the proper walkthrough, like after getting an I-20, how do we proceed with the process to get a visa? Like there are various steps. So
All right. So the question that's come from the audience here is, can you walk me through what I should be doing once I receive the I-20? All right. So this student is has got admissions for fall 2018. Essentially, once you get the I-20, let's say you get 3 or 4 I-20s, you first have to, of course, make a decision as to which out of those universities, 4 or 5 universities, you are going to attend. Once you've made up your mind on which university you're going to attend, please use that I-20 and pay what is called as the SEVIS fee. SEVIS stands for Student Exchange Visitor Information Service. Okay, that fee is $200, and you can go to this website called fmjfee.com. I'll repeat it, fmjfee.com, and you pay the $200 SEVIS fee. Your I-20 gets an SEVIS ID once you pay that fee. That's your first step. Your second step is then to go to the website called ustraveldocs.com, and you create your user profile on that, all right? And you sign in with your name, your country, and create a username and a password for yourself, and then you fill out a form which is called the DS-160 form, which is your visa application, F1 student visa application form. Again, you'll have to first pay a visa fee. The amount is $160, and once you've paid the fee, you can apply for 2 appointments. The first appointments will be your biometrics or your fingerprinting appointment, and the second appointment will be for the actual visa interview. So you can do this on the US Travel Docs, USTRAVELDOCS, ustraveldocs.com website. That's where you fill out the DS-160 or this F1 student visa form. All right. And once you do that and you schedule your appointments, you go for your biometrics and come for the visa interview. Once you get the visa, then you can apply for a visa only in the time period 120 days prior to the start date of your program. So on the I-20, it will be given what is the start date of your program. So work backwards, and in the 120-day period backwards from that date, you can apply for a visa, and you can actually travel to the US in a 30-day period prior to the start of your program. All right. So you can travel to the US 30 days prior to the start of your program. Okay, does that answer your question? All right. Any other? Yes, please go ahead.
So between the biometric and the interview, what is the gap between the?
There is no specific. You can share. Okay, the question was between the biometrics and the interview, how much gap should I keep? If you can get an appointment in today for the biometrics, you can schedule a visa interview the next day. It depends on what date is available on the website when you go in to log in for the appointment. So it depends on the dates that are available for the interview or the biometrics. So you'll have to schedule it online. All right. Any other questions? Yes, please. Exchange. The question is about exchange programs. Can you clarify? You mean to say the Fulbright exchange program? Is that what you're asking about? Okay, the Fulbright fellowships are offered for graduate studies, and also they have a PhD a fellowship which is available for those who've registered for a PhD in India and who will be doing part of their PhD studies in the US, and there is also a fellowship available for some postdoc programs. However, there are several fellowships available under the Fulbright programs, and each of them will have specific subject areas for which they are available. So ideally, I would advise you to go to our usief.org.in website, and there is an entire section there for Fulbright fellowships. If you can just click on that link, it will take you into the Fulbright fellowships page, and you can click on the fellowships for Indian citizens and choose which of the ones are relevant for you and see what subject areas they support. So it's very subject specific, and each fellowship will vary, so please do have a look at the website. That will provide you more information. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Is there any medical seats available on 2018?
Okay, that's a good question. Are there any medical seats available in 2019? Okay, the first thing I need to clarify is that unlike in India, where straight out of high school, after your 12th standard, you can write the NEET exam and join a medical college in India. However, in the US, it doesn't work like that. If you want the medicine program, medicine, law, they are actually graduate level programs or master's level programs, which means that you first have to do a 4 years of bachelor's degree in the US. You should be in a program that has a pre-medical track, which means in your 3rd and 4th year of your bachelor's degree, your courses will be aligned to studying medicine after that degree. Once you finish the bachelor's degree, you then take an exam called the MCAT, and then you apply to a medical school. So it's very different in the US. You're welcome to email us and we can provide you more details, but it's difficult to say whether seats are available in a particular college. You will not be able to apply after your 12th directly to medical college. You have to do 4 years of bachelor's degree in the US and then write the MCAT and then apply for medical school. That's the procedure in the US. Okay? All right. So shall we take some questions from the online audience that's signing up with Facebook, and then I'll come back to the in-house audience after that. Yes, please.
Okay. So the first question is, I'm going for fall 2018, how to prepare for visa interview? What documents should we take with us for the visa interview?
Okay. I would suggest that you look up, sorry, the question, let me repeat that question. I'm applying for fall 2018 and I'm in the process of, understanding how to apply for the visa. What are the documents that I should be taking with me for the visa? If you can go to our website, www.ustraveldocs.com, and if you can just look up on that website, the list of documents that you need to take with you would be available on that website. Okay, or you could give us a call on 2857-4134 and we could provide you some more information, or we could even, if you send us an email, we could send you the visa information handout as well. But it will definitely include, you will need to take your I-20, your passport, you will be required to take your the visa appointment confirmation slip, you will be required to take the service fee receipt, the visa fee that you've paid, information about that, plus of course your mark sheets, financial documents, all of that you will be required. But I would urge you, if TGV sir, if we can just put up that one slide. Yeah, I'll just show you a slide with the dates for our if you come for our visa information session, these are the dates that have been slotted: Thursday, April 19th, Thursday, May 17th, and Thursday, June 21st. As I mentioned earlier, we will be doing a the visa information session presentation will be done by our US Vice Consul, and the officer will address this question in detail during that presentation. So do come for that session, or you can look up more information on the ustraveldocs.com website. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Not for the time being. All right. So we'll go back to the in-house audience. Any questions? Yes, please.
My son wants to apply for fall 2019.
Yes, sir.
What is this need blind admission?
Okay, need blind aid is, okay, the question is, what is need blind aid for a student applying for fall 2019? There are about 5 US, need blind aid essentially means that irrespective of the parents' financial ability to pay for the education of the child, the university can consider them for full funding if they find that the profile of the student is the kind of the right fit for their college. There are only 5, there are many universities offering need blind aid, but only 5 offer them for international students, and these are Yale, Harvard, MIT, University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and Yale, Harvard, MIT, UMass, Amherst, and I'm afraid there's one more university that offers it, but it's slipping my mind at the moment. I can confirm that to you if you email me later. But there are only 5 which offer it to international students. So if in case you cannot, in some universities they will ask you to fill out the International Student Financial Aid application and the CSS profile form, and based on how much you can pay, they will try and support you for the remaining amount. But in a need blind aid, it doesn't matter whether you can fund them partially or completely, they will still consider the student for a full funding if it meets their profile of the right fit and all of that.
Does it have any relevance to the getting admission, or it's the independent?
No, I mean when you submit your application, you can clearly state that you need full funding. You can state that if that's the need for you, you can mention that. Yes. And is the student an Indian citizen, if I may ask? Okay. Yeah. Then only these 5. Let me try and recollect again. It's Yale, Harvard, MIT, UMass, and I'm sorry, it's really slipped my mind. I'll try and remember. If I can, I'll come back to you later. Any other questions?
Is there any specific program that these kind of aids, or is it just
okay, okay. So the question is, are there any specific financial aid opportunities for Indian students? Is that the question? Yes.
Yeah, it's just about need blind aid.
Yeah, see at the bachelor's degree level, students can apply, international students can apply for need-based scholarship or merit-based scholarship. Now, colleges will essentially ask you to fill out certain applications for that. Majority of them will accept something called as a CSS profile or the College Scholarship Service profile. Now, this application form is available on the College Board website. Now, certain universities may not accept the CSS profile. They will have a separate international student financial aid application form which is available on their website itself. So, these are two ways of reaching to a university and trying to find out whether you can apply for scholarships that are offered by them. But you will have to check this on each individual university's website because that information for financial aid for international students will be specific to that university. It's very subjective. So, please check if you have 10 universities you've identified as the ones that you're interested to apply to, then please check on each of those websites what their financial aid policy is for international students, and accordingly please apply for that.
Subject preference, is there any special subject preference in awarding the aid, or is it?
No. The question is there any specific subject preference in awarding financial aid to undergraduate students? Unless it's a specific department scholarship which is for, say, let's say computer science or maybe ecology or environment studies. If it's something like that, if it's a very department scholarship, then it may be very subject oriented. But if it is a college wide scholarship which is available to all international students, then it may not be subjective to a particular subject or a field of study. But there might also be, if the student is a, let's say computer science, mathematics, some kind of student like that, there might be even private companies like Google and Microsoft have scholarships. So, and international students may be allowed to apply for that. So, you might want to check that as well and see on their website how you can apply for something like that. And just as a piece of information I'd like to share with all students, there are several private foundations and trusts in India which also provide financial aid to Indian students who are going for higher education abroad. So, you might want to just do some research online to find those names of those trusts and foundations, and you can directly apply to them. All right? No. Yes, we have an online question, so I'll just take that now.
What is the procedure for doing PhD in English literature?
In?
English literature.
Okay, so the question is, what is the procedure for doing PhD in English literature? Okay, so thank you for that question. Essentially, you should have, you should be taking the, you will have to take the GRE exam, and you will have to take one English language proficiency exam. Because you're going to be applying for a PhD, it is ideal if you can identify a few universities where professors are doing research in your subject area or subject specialization, and you can email those professors in advance and talk to them about applying for a PhD with them. Because not every professor might be accepting students for PhD. So, it's ideally good at the PhD level, it's good to establish contact with professors, talk to them about opportunities for funding, about opportunities for being part of their research team, and then accordingly applying to that university. So, it's good to reach out to the professor in advance. But you will have to anyway take the GRE and the TOEFL exam. Maybe because it's a literature program, they might also ask you to take a GRE subject test, is again something that they might ask you to take, but that will be again very specific to each university. So, please do reach out to individual universities to show, ideally you can look, there is also a good website you can look at, it's called phds.org. You may be able to find universities and specific programs for your subject on that website. Another website you can look at is also the petersons.com website. You can shortlist universities using that website as well, or you can also look at gradschools.com. That's another one. If you're looking for graduate study, that's another one that's a very useful website. All right. Yeah. Next question here. Anybody? Yes, please. Okay, the question is, I'm going to write my ACT exam and IELTS next month, and will I be able to get admission for fall 2018 programs? Okay. Now, most universities have already started, their application deadlines have closed, and they've already started sending out admission offers to students and I-20s to students. But it is possible that there are still universities that have admission deadlines open. So, you will have to go online, use Petersons or College Board search engine and identify a few colleges which still are open to accepting applications. There may be some which might accept till April or even beyond. So, you will have to identify those, but then the choice will be limited for you if you are applying this year. But if you are willing to apply next year, then you can apply to all the 4,000 accredited universities. So, your choices become much, your choices bigger, and you get to choose your preference college, your priority college. So the choice is up to you. It's not to say that you won't be able to apply now, but the choice might be limited because very few will be accepting applications this late in the admission cycle. Okay. May I? Yes, please.
Does a previous rejection for F1 visa affect my affect my next visa interview?
Okay, so the question is, if I have been refused the F1 visa once before, will it affect my chances if I were to apply again? The question is no. If you've been refused a visa, you may very well apply again. But to know more information on this, I would urge you to look up the US Travel Docs website for specific information, but you can reapply. There is nothing, I mean, there's no reason to stop you from reapplying for a F1 visa again if you have been refused once.
Yeah. The same viewer also said that you might have missed to say Cornell as part of that need blind.
Thank you very much. And our member of the audience has shared the name of the university. The 5th university offering need blind aid to international students is Cornell University, which it had slipped my mind, but thank you so much to that. What's the name of the student? Not sure? Okay. But whoever sent that information in, thank you very much for that information. Okay, any questions I can take from the audience again? I'll come there and then I'll come to you, ma'am, the student at the back.
So what's the difference between this merit-based scholarships and the need-blind?
Need blind is separate, need-based and merit-based. Now, need-based is based on the ability of your parents to pay for your education. They might ask you to fill out the CSS profile or the ISFA form on their college website. And depending on how much your parents can pay, the university might match the remaining amount. But even if you're applying for a need-based scholarship, merit is what will count. So the best student with the best profile is the one who's going to get even that scholarship. In a merit-based scholarship, it's purely a merit that decides that you get that scholarship. But please understand that this scholarship might vary from college to college, right? So you'll have to specifically check on each university's website as to what kind of scholarship they are offering and what are the eligibility criteria for that scholarship. So it will vary from university to university. So please do look up the university's website to see what they expect from a student to be eligible for that particular scholarship. Okay. Yes, please. So I'll come to you after this lady, sir. Yeah.
You've given quite some information about the scholarships.
Yes.
For the undergraduate.
Yes.
Do they apply for the graduate programs also, or is there something different?
Thank you for that question. The question is, how does the scholarships or financial aid work for master's or graduate degree students? All right. So, ma'am, for the master's students, first thing they need to know is financial aid is purely based on merit. Okay. Second thing is, it is essentially in the form of assistantships, and there are 3 types of assistantships that masters or graduate students can apply for. These are called the teaching assistantship, the graduate assistantship, and the research assistantship. In a teaching assistantship, the graduate student would be required to teach, say, a foundation course for the first year undergraduate students. In a graduate assistantship, the student might be provided opportunities to work on campus, either in the cafeteria, the admissions office, the fitness center, wherever opportunities are available on campus, those will be available. And in a research assistantship, the student works as part of a research team with a particular professor, and then you get support from that particular research fund that's available to that professor. And similarly, in the teaching assistantship, you either get a tuition waiver or you get paid for the work that you do similarly. So that will support your education. That's essentially how master's students will be able to get financial aid.
Whether the student falls in one of this is decided on campus.
Yeah. Okay. So the assistantships essentially nowadays, from what we're observing, the trend is that most universities are offering students assistantship after they join the university. So essentially after the student finishes the first semester, or in some cases even after the first year, is when students are able to get the assistantship. But again, this again varies university to university, and it will depend department to department also. It will vary because the assistantship might be provided by that particular department, especially the research assistantships, for example. So it will depend on department funding as well. So it is ideal to apply to a university, get the admission, and then reach out to their department professors and find out about funding opportunities. You're welcome. May I take another question?
There's another question.
Online? Okay. Just 1 minute, so I'll come back to you. Yeah.
I'm still waitlisted, so should I continue to send a letter of continued interest, or what else?
Sorry, I'm still?
I'm waitlisted at a university. Can I send a letter of continued interest, or what should I do?
Okay, the question is, I'm still waitlisted at a university. Can I send a letter of continued interest? it doesn't, nothing to stop you from sending that letter to the admissions office itself, but maybe you could even try and send it to somebody in the department, you know, the professor whose work aligns with your interests. You may, if you're writing to a professor, do understand that you may or may not get a reply, but you can reach out to the graduate admissions office, and definitely you can let them know that you're still interested in the program. Yeah. Sir, I'll take your question now.
What is the difference between need-based aid and need-blind aid? Are they two different things, or?
No, it depends on, again, the university, how they classify that particular aid. So I would suggest you look up on each university's website as to what need-based aid they are providing and how you need to apply for that need-based aid. In some, it may be classified as need-blind aid, or it might be just on your ability to pay. As I said earlier, they will ask you to fill out a CSS profile or the ISFA profile, and if you say that only 40% of the child's education is affordable by you, if the college likes the student's profile immensely, they might be willing to match the 60% if they have the funding available, but it's not always the case that everybody will get that full funding. So it depends on, the need-based will be how much you can pay versus how much the college can match that payment or not. So that's also there. So it will again vary from college to college. So the financial aid policy would vary. So need-blind aid is where it doesn't matter whether what this parent's ability to pay for your financial education. You might be able to pay completely or none at all, or you might be able to pay partially only. So the college will not keep that as, it will not let that influence the admission decision. Whereas in a need-based aid, you're clearly saying I need financial aid and only so much I can support for my child's education, and I would like the university to provide us a scholarship for the remaining funding that we require. So that is how they will see your application. Sometimes some students are always worried about saying that I need financial aid because they are worried whether it will impact their admission. That's a difficult question to answer, whether it will really impact your admission, because if the student's profile is really strong, and when I say strong, I mean academically from 9th to 12th grade, for an undergraduate student, from 9th to 12th grade, they have great they've shown great academic potential, they've shown leadership potential, they have great extracurricular activities, and they can show that they've done some good community service work, then it's a good profile. So it will depend on the student's profile also. So that will also impact the decision. Any other questions?
Another question.
Yeah.
My son is a US citizen and he's planning to apply for political science or international relations. Is there any financial aid available? He will be joining in fall 2019, and when is a good time to apply to colleges and
Okay, so we have a question from a parent of a student who is an American citizen, and they'd like to know if any specific financial aid is available for that student. As an American citizen, the student is eligible to apply for federal aid. So I would urge you to look up this website called FAFSA, F-A-F-S-A, that is free application for federal scholarship assistance. Yeah, free application for federal scholarship assistance. You can fill out the application form and submit it, and the student will be eligible for federal aid from the US government. In addition to that, since the student is an American citizen, there will be several scholarships that the university itself will provide for that particular student. So it could be like a governor's scholarship or the dean's scholarship, or there could be you know, like an alumni scholarship. There could be a wide variety of scholarships available to that student. So you may want to check with the specific universities you're applying to and see what scholarships are available to that particular student. There are also very many private trusts and foundations in the US that support education interests of American citizens. So you may even want to do some research on that and see if that's another option that you can explore. All right? Yeah.
Another question. My program is hospitality management, and SAT was not mandatory for my program. I got admitted to one of the top ranked university for my program. Will this affect my visa interview?
Okay, so the question is somebody who's applied for a hospitality management bachelor's degree program, and the student wants to, and the SAT exam score was not a requirement, admission requirement, but the student wants to know if it will impact his visa interview. I would suggest that when you come for the visa interview, if the officer asks you as to why you haven't taken the SAT exam, bring with you a copy of the admissions page of the university where it clearly states that SAT is not one of the requirements for admission considerations, so that you can show the officer that this is what the university required of you and that you have fulfilled all the admission requirements, and SAT was not one of those. So do get that information from the university showing that it was not one of the requirements. Okay, and then you should be able to explain that to the officer.
the student visa day?
Can I? Yeah. Okay, so June, the question is, when is the student visa day? It's on June 6th, 2018. So you can, yeah, please look out, do check our Education USA India Facebook page, and we'll put out information about that shortly in the next few days. Yes.
Okay, there's someone who applied for a visa and he lost his visa in an accident, and after that he applied for passport and came for drop option, and his visa got rejected. And I applied for the next semester also, and then I got rejected, and then recently applied again in March 2018 twice, and I got rejections. I don't know why I'm getting rejections. The interviewer just asked me 2 questions: which university and do you have previous visa? And I keep getting rejected. Can you please help me in this? I know the reason why I'm getting rejection, even though I have enough funds.
Okay, this is a very specific question to a visa query that a student has. In response, I would urge you to please email the visa helpline, and they will be able to guide you. I'm afraid I can't answer that specific question regarding the visa. Please send an email to support-india@ustraveldocs.com, or you could even call these 2 numbers which are mentioned here on the screen. Please make a note of these numbers and give them a call if you have, since yours is a very specific case, you will need to email them or you'll need to call them to seek clarifications. I'm afraid I won't be able to answer that particular question on your visa query. Yeah. Okay. Any questions I can take? Yes, please.
Is there a timeline that people have to be looking at if they're looking for a financial aid or not in applying for university?
So the question is there a timeline that students must keep in mind when they're applying for financial aid for US university admissions? Sometimes it's good to know that some universities have a financial aid deadline which can be prior to the application deadline itself. So when you are doing your basic research for application to US universities, keep track of that firstly. If the information is not available on their website, if it's not clearly given on the undergraduate or graduate admissions page, please don't hesitate to email the university and ask them if they have a separate deadline or is it the same deadline. Also check with the university if they have a separate application form that you need to fill out, or is the main application form that you submit, is that considered automatically for financial aid also? Please check both of these things. For undergraduate students, I would urge you to check whether the university requires the CSS profile or whether they have the International Student Financial Aid application, which is a separate application available on certain university websites. So check again what kind of application they want you to fill out if you have to apply for any of that kind, for aid to that particular university. So you need to check that with the university. And if you remember, may I have that please? I'll just draw your attention to this slide which I showed you. 10 to 12 months prior to actually joining the university, the financial aid, research for financial aid should start. So it's parallel almost to your researching and shortlisting university. You should also be looking for financial aid information. So if you are applying for 2019 fall, start not just shortlisting universities right now, but also start looking for financial aid information parallelly. Okay, so that's the timeline that you should be following. Yes.
I'm applying for MS in Civil Engineering from Cal State University in fall 2018. What are the financial options available for me in US as in terms of loan? I have my relatives residing there on L1. How can they help?
Okay. There's a student who has applied for a master's degree and has got admission, and he'd like to know how he can secure financial aid from family members who are living in the US. In your case, you should ask your family members to give you a financial an affidavit, which states clearly that they are willing to support your education. They should also attach their financial documents, their savings account statements or whatever is the equivalent of that in the US. They need to submit that document along with the affidavit that they are giving you, the sponsorship affidavit that they are giving you. In terms of loan, I'm not sure if they can apply on your behalf. I'm not very sure about that. You'll have to ask that from your relatives. But if they have the funds available and they are willing to support your education, then they need to give you a sponsorship affidavit and their financial documents, which show that they have enough money to pay for your education. So that's essentially what you will need from them. Can I take some questions from the audience? Yes.
What is the success percentage?
Attend your interview, and here's wishing you good luck that you get the visa.
There is no advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah, there is no advantage or disadvantage of coming for your visa interview on the student visa day. The visa interview will be adjudicated in the same way on every given day. So just wishing everybody good luck for their visa interviews. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Some of the school doesn't have a high school counselor.
Yes.
So how do we handle it?
Yes, a good question. Some of the schools in India don't have high school counselors, so how can we get a recommendation letter from a counselor? If the school doesn't have a counselor, you can request the school's vice principal or the principal and ask them to give you the recommendation letter. So you can give their name in the slot that is given for counselors. You can include the vice principal or the principal's name. And you can include the other two recommendation letters from a subject teacher who has taught your son or daughter in that particular class. Yeah. Yes, please.
Coming back to that same question, the subject teachers have to be the +2 teachers, or it can be even 11th standard?
Okay, so the question is, do the teachers providing the recommendation letters, can they be from grade 9 or grade 10, or should they be from grade 11 and 12? Ideally, it would be great if the current teacher who is teaching a particular subject is the giving the recommendation. However, if there is one teacher with whom the student bonded well and whom the student really thinks can give a great recommendation letter, there is no harm in getting one from a teacher in 9th and 10th grade and the remaining 2 from teachers in grade 11 and 12. Yeah. Yes, please. You have a question? Yeah, I'll come back to you, ma'am, just a minute. Yeah.
Is there any possibility to get student visa after being rejected so many times during the interview? What should I do for getting
the question is again relating to refusal of the student visa. I'm afraid you'll have to call the helpline or email the ustraveldocs.com to check on information related to the visa per se. Or you can attend one of our visa information sessions, and the US Vice Consul who will be presenting that session, you could put this question to them. They will probably be better able to answer this question. Yeah, can I take your question?
Exams, when and why should, how,
Do you want to know about how to register for the AP exams, or?
what way is helpful?
Okay, the question is how is the AP exams, taking the AP exam helpful for undergraduate admission to US universities? See, AP exams per se don't help you with getting admission into a US university. What they help you with is two things. One, because these are almost foundation courses which would be offered in the first year of undergraduate study, if you take an AP exam here, you can waive credits for those when you join the program. So you don't need to repeat that course again if you've already done an AP exam in that particular subject. All right, so that's one advantage. The second advantage is that it would be cheaper to take, the cost of taking the AP exam here is cheaper, so you can save some money when you're waiving off credits for that same particular course at a US university. And the third thing it helps you with is proving your proficiency in that particular subject. So if you're taking calculus AB, for example, and out of 5 you score a 4 or 4.5 or even 5 out of 5 in that particular AP subject, it shows that you're extremely proficient in that subject, and it's really adds to your profile, but it doesn't determine your admission decision. The university does not just look at the AP and decide on the admissions. The admissions will be based on a whole load of other things like your SAT or ACT score, your school GPA, your extracurricular activities, your community service profile, your leadership potential, all of that, your essay that you write, the letters of recommendation your teachers give you, all of that goes into deciding whether you get admission or not. The AP exams will not affect either way your chance of getting in. If you choose not to take the AP exam, you don't need to worry, it doesn't affect your admission. If you choose to take it, it adds to your profile because it shows how proficient you are in a particular subject, and of course it helps you to waive credits and save some money when you join the program. Yeah.
Is there any limitation for appearing for GRE?
Okay, the question is there any limitation as to number of times that you can apply for a GRE exam? No, there isn't. It's offered many times a year, so you just need to see, I think if you take it if you take it once and you haven't, you'll have to check what the next available dates are, and I think there might be a timeline of within so many days that you cannot retake it or something. So do check the ETS website. I'm not able to recollect what the number of days is, but you can retake it many times. There's no restriction on that. But just as to how soon you can take it, there might be a restriction on the number of days before which you can take it again. So that please just check on the ETS website.
What is a certified transcript?
Attested transcript. Okay, the question is, what is a certified transcript? If I understand correctly, I think you're asking what is an attested transcript, because that's the terminology that is normally used by US universities. Your transcripts have to be attested by, if you're applying for graduate study, they have to be attested by the registrar or the controller of examination of the university under which your college comes. And if you're a high school student who's applying to the US, then the school principal or the vice principal must attest your mark sheets or transcripts, which you will then submit to the university to show your academic credentials to them, basically. Okay.
How many letters of recommendations does the student need to have?
Okay. Okay. So the question is, how many letters of recommendation does a student need to submit as part of the US University application package? Now, it will vary from 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. If you are applying for an undergraduate or bachelor's degree, please get it 1 from your school counselor or your school vice principal or principal, and 2 from your subject teachers. If you are applying for a graduate degree or a master's degree, please get all 3 from your subject teachers, or you could get it from somebody who supervised a project for you. And if you've done a long internship, you could even get 1 from your work supervisor and in your internship placement area. So you could get it from any of these people.
Can a student take AP exam in the 12th grade even though the application process would have been completed?
Yeah, the question is, can a student take AP exams in the 12th grade even though the applications have been submitted and admission offers have started to come in? Yes, you may take it after your 12th board exam as well. There's no restriction on when you can take it. You can take it either after your 11th exams. It's usually conducted in the month of May in India, and the USIEF offices are among the several, I mean, we administer it here in Chennai as well in the other Education USA centers. Please check with them. We do administer the AP exam. Get in touch with our offices in the month of February each year to find out about how you can register for the AP exam, which will be taking place in the month of May. Yeah.
What is the visa officer exactly looking for from a student when he comes in for an interview?
Okay, the question is, what do visa officers look for when they are interviewing students for the F1 student visa? Essentially, they are looking to see that you are a genuine student, that the purpose of your visit is for higher education. So those are the essential things, but this is a question that you should ideally be putting forward to a US Vice Consul rather than my talking about the visa. I would advise you to come for our visa information sessions. In Chennai, as I've mentioned, TGV sir, can you just switch on the thing? I'll just show you the dates for the sessions in Chennai. If you are based in Chennai or around Chennai, and you can come to our American Center, April 19th, May 17th and June 21st, please attend the visa information session, and you can ask the respective officers who will be making the presentation, you can ask them this question. And if you are not able to attend a session in Chennai, then please check with the nearest Education USA center as to when they are going to be doing this session, and if it is live streamed, you may be able to watch it online. So do check with the nearest Education USA center as to how you may get more information on applying for the US visa. Any other questions? Nothing from Facebook? Okay, the question, what is the question in the sense?
Is it compulsory to write this?
Okay, the question is it compulsory to write this SAT essay? Now, essay is optional. So many universities will clearly state on their website that they will accept a score without the essay component. However, some might state on their admissions page, undergraduate admissions page, that they require the essay. If they do ask you for it, and if that's a priority university for you, then it might be useful to take the essay. But majority of them, it's optional. So please first shortlist a few universities, go through the undergraduate admissions page and see what is their requirement. In all probability, I mean, since it's an optional thing, you may not require it, but it's worthwhile checking with each university before you make a decision on that. Okay, so the question is whether there is any student visa information session happening in Ahmedabad. I'm afraid I don't know if there is any specific date, but what I would advise you to is please just go online and search for Indo-American Education Society office in Ahmedabad. They are the official Education USA Center in Ahmedabad. So you may reach out to them, call them and check with them, and they'll be able to tell you when if they are holding an visa information session, they will be able to give you the right dates for that, the correct dates for that. So it's Indo-American Education Society, or you can just search online for Education USA Center Ahmedabad, or you can even go to the official Education USA page, which is educationusa.state.gov, and on that page there is a link for Find an Education USA Center, and using that search engine you will be able to find the address for the Education USA Center in Ahmedabad or anywhere else in the world. In all the 400 centers, information is available on that website. So you can go onto that website and search for a center that is nearest to your residence. Any final? Yes, please.
When you apply for your master's, does an internship or a work experience add any weightage to the application?
Okay. The question is, if you're applying for a master's or a graduate degree, does having an internship experience or a work experience add weightage to your admission procedure? Any experience, work experience or internship experience is always adds value to your profile, and if it is relevant to the program that you're applying for, if it is a similar subject area or field of study, and if it's very relevant to the subject that you're going to specialize in your masters, then definitely it will add value to your profile, and the professors will take note of it in the admissions committee when they are reviewing the profile of the student. Any final questions from both our online audience as well as the in-house audience?
Is there any advantage in PhD programs in terms of citizenship?
Oh, I did not get your question. Can you, what do you mean by that?
Doing a PhD doesn't give you a better chance of getting
For citizenship.
To get a US citizenship, you mean?
Is there any advantage?
I don't think, I mean, the question was, does doing a PhD in the US, is it more advantageous if you're interested in applying for a US citizenship? Yeah. Have I understood your question correctly? Okay, I really don't think that would matter. Your application would be viewed like any other application for citizenship, I assume. But I don't know. I really can't answer that question. I don't, you might want to go onto the US Travel Docs website and see if there is any information available. Would you be able to add something on that, Krishna?
Please stop with education advising.
Yeah, I think we'll stop. Citizenship is not our expertise really, so I really wouldn't be able to answer much of that. You might want to check with the university if they might be able to help you with some answers to that. Yeah. Any final questions? We have another 5 minutes to go, so please keep your questions coming in. TGSWA, can we just have that on, please? I'll just do a quick recap. Yeah. Yes, please.
So, how does the IB curriculum relate to AP courses?
Are you asking whether is there an advantage of taking AP if you are from an IB curriculum, or is there no difference between doing the two?
I'm asking, I heard that you can submit the courses that you've done in IB for AP credits.
Okay.
So, as college credits, do you have to write the AP exam separately after doing that?
Okay, so if the question is if a student is already pursuing an IB curriculum and he understands that he can give his IB credits can be used for waiving certain AP courses. So is that something that's correct, is what he wants to know. See, this will be very university specific. Not every university may accept your IB credits as equivalent to an AP credit. Some may be willing to accept it. So my advice would be to check on specific university websites as to what information they give you for that. I do know that in some cases where a student has done a high level course, let's say in English, then they might waive an English language proficiency for an international student, but it may not always be the case. It is very student specific and profile specific, so it would be great if you could email those universities that you're applying to and check. It may not be the same across the board, it will vary from college to college, so please do check with individual universities. Okay, so just as a final recap, And anything else online? No? All right, so just as before we close the session, I'll just give you a final recap. For those applying for 2018 admits, don't forget to attend, if you're in Chennai or around Chennai, please attend the visa information session where a US Vice Consul will talk about the visa application process. The sessions are on April 19th, May 18th and June 21st, 3 to 4 p.m. They are being conducted at the American Center here at the US Consulate in Chennai. If you wish to attend these programs, you need to go to our website and register for them in advance. I'll just provide you information on that. So please go to our usief.org.in website and please register online for both the visa information session as well as the pre-departure orientation session. Now this link on the USIEF homepage will allow you to register for the visa information session and the PDO session at all 7 Education USA centers in India. So please do visit our homepage and look up the web link and sign up and register for these events. All right. And just to quickly provide you our toll-free helpline number, 1-800-103-1231. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call us with your queries. And to look up our calendar of events, please go to usief.org.in. The monthly calendar of events for our centers is available over here. And these are our other information, our YouTube page. Every Saturday 10 a.m. for our webinar, you log into this website. Please follow us on Facebook. It's EDUSA India. That's our All India page, Facebook page. And please visit the educationusa.state.gov website. That's the official Education USA website. We have a lot of resources for all the 5 steps to higher education in the US. We have a lot of resources available on that website, both for undergraduate and graduate students. So please do visit that website. And if you are in Chennai, you can always call us 2857-4134. You may also visit us at the US Consulate here in Chennai. But please make sure that you note our timings, Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You are welcome to visit us, but do remember to bring a government issued original valid photo ID card. Please don't bring photocopied and laminated ID cards. Please bring the original ID card if you want entry into the US Consulate in Chennai. And please call us if you have any questions before you come to visit us. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. Yes, please.
In the beginning, you were mentioning about some webinars on April 7th.
No, all right, that's a good one. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. For those students who are interested to apply to the University of Chicago and Johns Hopkins University, these 2 universities are conducting joint sessions in various cities across India. And this is happening in Chennai. The session is happening on April 7th at Hotel Hilton. If you could send us an email or if you could give us a call, I could share the registration link for those events. That's for University of Chicago and Johns Hopkins University. Please note our email ID. It's for undergraduate education. It's for undergraduate education. And the email ID is usief@usief.org.in. Please send us an email and we can send you the registration link for that particular event that's happening on April 7th for undergraduate students at Hotel Hilton. I'm not sure of the timing, so please send us an email and I could, or you could give us a call and we could give you that information. All right. So thank you so much for joining us today. Do keep in touch with us through our calendar of events. Find out what upcoming events we are hosting, and do join us and or email us or call us if you have any questions. Thank you again for joining us.